Hey guys, welcome to another episode on Cosmic Energy Live. We're spilling the tea with our favorite Akashic record reader, Raven Wolfe. Hi, Raven. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So, for those who are chiming in, welcome. Me and Raven have met through mutual classes and we connected very well. And we have a lot of things in common and the same curiosity towards spiritual enlightenment and spiritual work. Now, I am a cosmic energy healer and teacher, and I am a psychic reader and also manifestation coach. This is just one of the things that I do as an entrepreneur. Now, Raven, what do you do? Tell us.
I'm a medium, and then I help people with Akashic records, and I work with animals as well. I do pet psychic stuff with them,
We love that.
and I absolutely love it. And I also do various different types of healing work as well.
Nice. So I have a question about the Akashic records because we tapped into each other's energy, we read a little bit each other, and just to get a feel of how our things are going. So I'm super curious for you to tell us more about Akashic records because out of my experience that I had a lot of people that said they would do Akashic records, and given the fact that you have to be psychic for this record reading, that did not happen. So it was very
Mhm.
disappointing, and I've heard other people. I see sometimes advertisements, and they say we're doing Akashic record reading or healing. So there is a difference to that as well. Now, given the fact that in Akashic record readings, the people that I had met, they didn't have the right information for me. So, like, have you noticed? Like, have you seen that there is like a little bit of a troublesome situation? What are basically my question is, how do I know this is a real Akashic record reader?
Well, there's a difference in how different people do Akashic records readings, and so that's kind of important to note as well. But Akashic record readers will be able to go ahead and look at what is going on from your previous lives that have streamlined up to now, even into the future by um, psychic connection. That's something that they can essentially do. Now, different Akashic records do it, readers do it different ways. There are people that just do the readings themselves, and then there are people that go ahead and guide you through meditation to get that information. But if you're just wanting someone to just look at those past lives for you, then it's like getting you're not including the meditation work with that. Now, when it comes to healings, Akashic record healings, that's different because that does take work on the client's part as well as the person who is working with them.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
are in that particular case because you're looking at releasing energetic cords. You're looking at um, what the causes of some of these issues are. And you're going in and you're doing the work by guidance to go ahead and release that because that's not something an Akashic Records reader can do for you. That's something that
Yeah.
they can guide you to do.
So, how long is record readings? Is it like 1 hour or 2 hours? How long is the healing? Is there a difference to that?
So um it is based on, so the reading itself usually is about an hour.
Okay.
Um, it could be a half-hour session if you didn't wanna go too deep, but if you want to look at more than one past life, it's probably a good idea to do about an hour session.
Mhm.
For healings, um, I want to it really is dependent on how many, lives you're looking at working through and what kind of effects they had during that specific lifetime and how it's affecting you in the current. Because some things, let's say you've had a traumatic past life
Mhm.
and that life really isn't affecting you now, but there's still a cord there where you go through that release of that. And usually that's pretty smooth. But when you have stuff that's going on in the current life
Yeah.
and you've had similar traumas, you're releasing that and going through that process, and then you're doing some healing work, like our energetic healing work that goes beyond the normal of like, I've released this, it's done, you know. You're actually going in and you're healing those parts that need energetic work. Um, so I would say that a healing can last anywhere dependent on the client between an hour to 2 hours.
Okay, fair enough. That's good. And so how so I had we did a little bit of a session. So I've noticed that when I had the past ones that claimed to be Akashic Record Readers, they just went through like a little bit of a prayer. It was not a meditation that apparently dived in, but I could tell because I do psychic work myself, like there was something off. And you said a few things that made more sense to me. So I knew that you were psychic because of certain questions that I asked you, around that theme and also as a psychic. Um, how how would you say, like, because I have psychic abilities, how would you say for everyone else to spot the difference, like what to look for? Like when they have an Akashic reading, because there is so much misinformation on that, sadly. And it's such a beautiful thing. I love what you offer and do, but not everybody has your gift.
I think when it comes to like what to look for, pay attention to what your gut is telling you.
Mm.
If you're intuitively getting that someone is not the right person for you to be doing the Akashic Records session, then there's a reason why you're being guided to not go to that specific person. I would say um if someone tries to says, "Okay, I'll do a session for you," but then tries to charge you multiple times because you see multiple lives in one session, that's someone who's scamming you.
Wow.
Um, and it's usually when it comes to reading Akashic Record readings, you can view all of those lifetimes within all of those lifetimes that need to be looked at, and there's no reason for somebody to charge you multiple times because you saw 4 lifetimes in one session. That's silly. So, I would just say, like, different readers are also going to charge different prices. It's dependent on their skill sets, and I would say that it would be wise to choose somebody that is within what you can afford, um, and if it's not something, then it's definitely not the right person to go to either. If they tell you that they this is a big one, if they tell you that they can heal everything for you with a snap of their fingers, that's not somebody who knows
Doesn't
what they're
happen.
doing.
No, it doesn't happen. Yeah, you're right about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because it does take when it comes to actual the healing process, it does take work,
Yeah.
at that point by the actual client.
Yeah. I never tell my clients that it's going to be done with a snip. I say I can help you to get faster to your goal, but there's certain things you need to go through, like emotionally, mentally. And it's good that you say that you put your clients also to work because they need to also remove that. They need to understand and feel, what what they're going through, and it makes you feel more empowered when you do certain rituals by yourself or certain cord cuttings. It makes
Very
so
true. And there's a lot that an Akashic Records reader, somebody who does healings, they can give you step-by-step processes of things that you can do independently, but if you want something to where somebody is working with you, there are other things that they can do as well. My biggest thing is just make sure that you're listening to what your gut instincts are telling you about a specific reader.
So I want to know, as an Akashic reader, you have to be psychic, right? Like, because the way I'm seeing it, because I channel messages, I'm not saying I'm an Akashic record reader, but like I see past lifetimes, so it could be like borderline towards that. But for me, when I see Akashic reader, I assume they're psychic because I don't know how else they want to see it. You can't see it with tarot cards, can you?
Well, no, you can't see it with tarot cards necessarily unless that's a way that you've set it up to be able to see them, but, like, I've never met anyone personally who does Akashic Record readings through tarot cards. Because with the Akashic Records, you're going into going into someone's library, energetic library of
Yes.
their lifeline stories of what has been and is now and is to come, or you're guiding them there. And so it does take, I do agree, at least from my experience, you do need to have that capacity to be able to receive like pictures and downloads of information from the Akashic records.
And then thank you for clarifying. And then the record readers, are they always offering healings, or are there some who just do readings? Because I've
There
seen usually the ones that are just readers and they don't know how to heal. I saw some, like it's 50-50. So it's very confusing to me. Like if you do one thing, you should offer the next thing, no?
Yeah, so there are people that just do the readings for the past life thing, and then they don't do the healing work. They are generally, some people will say, if there are things that need to be healed, I want the session done all at once. But you're looking at a 3 hour, 2 to 3 hour session if
Yeah.
you're doing that.
Yeah.
So a person would need to be prepared. The way that I personally do it is I will look at the records for a person and I will give the information that I am seeing. And then they can choose whether or not in the future they want to go ahead and do healing sessions, because not everybody that comes to me wants the healing along with it. Sometimes they just are curious and want to know what their past lives were like. And they're not really looking to heal anything.
Which is past
But
life regression, basically.
yeah, which, I can do past life regressions too, but even past life regressions are different than, Akashic records.
I was just going to ask, is the difference?
There is a difference because with regressions, you're putting someone under hypnosis to guide them back to that specific lifetime.
Yeah, I remember that.
And with Akashic record readings, you're just pulling
Yeah,
from what's in the books that you
pulling records.
see. Yeah. Um, there are Akashic record readers that will, in meditations, you know how we were talking about how some of them do meditations, they'll take you to that past life to view it from above. And I've done that, but that's when it's requested.
Mm.
That's why I say there's different kinds of ways of doing Akashic record readings.
Interesting. So you basically could do record readings, and you could also learn how to do past life regression and offer that as a wholesome session, which is a little bit more advanced. And then if you're like
Mhm.
even good about it, then you offer healings as well. So that is like a whole triangle situation. Interesting. And
Mm.
one more thing that I'm so curious about, like everybody's talking about Angel Metatron, which is in the Akashic records. Like, do you actually work with him? Is it necessary?
So here's the thing. Um, I first off, I love Archangel Metatron. I find him fascinating. And I call Metatron him because that's how he presents the angel presents themselves to me. It may present itself differently to another human being, which is okay. But I wanted to point out that when you go to the Akashic records, generally there is somebody who spiritually works with you when you go to the Akashic records to view things. Sometimes it's him, sometimes it's another energy that presents themselves forward. Like it could be someone that presents themselves as a fairy and they bring that book and they open it. It really is dependent on the individual person. But Archangel Metatron is very well known to help people with Akashic records. So if that's something that an individual or a group of people connects with well, then that's who will help them with that session.
But it's not necessary.
Nope, not in my experience. Now there may be other people that disagree with me, but I feel that he's he has the capacity to do that and he's there to be able to do that, but that's not the only answer.
Thank you for clarifying that. I think I'm asking questions that everybody wants to know for the most part. because I've noticed that I'm getting confused, and I am in that field, and I've never been more confused than anything else but Akashic Records, because I have met a lot of people who were not professional. I have met a lot of people who were not having psychic abilities, and you cannot claim to be a Akashic Record reader if you cannot see to the past or make things up. I've seen that too. So knowing I even can see my past lives because that's my gift. I see it in the past, in the present, and the future. So it's great that thank you for that you're clarifying it, because I think that most people when they get a Akashic record reading, they're just very confused about it. What does it actually mean, and what does it entail? So for me, from now on, I mean, I don't get that often readings done. But again, I've encountered a lot of people who are not professional. Now I know I can come to you, and you can help me, progress whatever and detach and fix whatever is needed to be fixed. But it's been like quite the challenge to find somebody who's actually decent. Like e- as psychics, you see them all the time online, and they pretend they give you all the same message, or like they pretend to be psychic and they're actually not. The real people are usually behind the scenes, not as seen. So it's nice to know that Akashic Records is, this, this, and this, and more understandable on what it relates to, and what's the family with the past life regression, that you can do that too, and then with the healings. But you kind of do, all those three things. So it's kind of like a trine. So it's
Yeah, and if an Akashic Records reader doesn't offer, like, the healing and stuff with it, it's either because that's just not their experience, or, and how they are able to do things, um, or they just set it up a little bit differently. But as far as, like, the way I do it, I'll go through the reading first, then I'll ask if they wanna go further, and if they don't wanna go further that day, we schedule it at a different time.
healing is not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart. I'm a healer. I've been a healer for 12 years. It's not for the faint of heart. Not everybody. Here's the thing: when we heal, we take on over other people's energy. So we have to release it by the end of the night or end of the day. And you get sometimes attachments that come onto you that you don't want to have. And you just need to be like a tougher cookie in order for you to do that. So, you and I may have a backbone. Not everybody has. Not everybody's willing to do that. So, kind of makes sense, you know? But, it was good to clarify, because so many question marks around Akashic readings. I had so many. And I know that I've been asked by clients, and I'm just like, you know, don't know all of it.
Right. Well, and I know that, you're really good at pulling, like, getting those messages of, like, those lifetimes. I mean, I experienced that with you myself, in our exchanges,
Yeah.
and, um, yeah, I mean, I haven't met anyone that hasn't had a form of psychic ability that cannot, or that can do, Akashic records. It's important that at least they have some capacity of that, in my experience.
Well, I'm in Los Angeles, so I've met a lot of people who pretend, and there's
Mm.
nothing behind. It's just hot air and just a lot of good talk and acting chops. Um,
Mm. What are your experiences with the Akashic records, and have you had, um what different kinds of things do clients ask you for when it comes to your readings?
So I don't do Akashic record readings, at least I not by guide, but when I'm hearing people lately, and ever since I met you, then I thought about it. I don't do what you do, but I kind of do Akashic record readings because I can chime into past lives, but not with everybody. Depends how open they are and if they ask for it. But I can often see past lives. So the way I work is I work with tarot cards, usually with my Gypsy tarot cards, and then in addition, I have the Rider tarot cards for help. But I channel messages. I get like messages through spirit, and many times I can see the guardian angels. I can see people who have passed away. I'm not a medium, I try not to tap too much into the other side because we talked about this last time. As a cosmic energy healer and teacher, I remove spirit attachments that are not good or need to pass over. But as a psychic or a tarot card reader or like a channeler, I do get messages and I often get past lives. Like we talked the other day, and I was seeing you like, and I told you from the first time we talked that I see you in this specific time sets, and every time we read, I might see something else. But people don't ask for it. Sometimes it just comes. Sometimes they ask, "Do you see any past lives?" So then I tap into it, and many times I describe things to them where just not only are they shocked, but they're very drawn to this era of time. So do I do healings or clearings or see some connections there? Sometimes. Sometimes I tell people, like, especially in love related matters, that they have to disconnect from this person because they have karmic past lives up to whatever number it is. And then I tell them they need to do clearings. And then I offer the cosmic energy healing that can help remove any attachments up to 7 past lives. And then in general, just help them align themselves with the chakras, which every healing does for the most part. And yeah, it's just like I get different information. I tell people usually don't tell me anything. I'm not interested in you telling me anything. I will find out for myself. And the first 10 minutes is where it's go time. And I rarely fail because I'm curious and I just want to know. I don't want you to tell me. There's no point that I'm not. You know how some psychics you go in and maybe you don't know, but a lot of psychics you go in and they're like, you need to ask me questions. For what? I'm gonna tell you what I see. That's usually how you know somebody's really psychic in my eyes. And from then questions pop up, and then sometimes within that, in that, usually the first time I pick up a lot of like past life stuff. Many times, like with you, I told you like you have a lot of historical. Like I can see you like in Viking time. I can see you like Merlin time. Definitely magical eras that you've been, and this is what made you who you are. So you passed on your gifts in every lifetime, which I did too. So I was a healer most likely, and yeah. In the readings, I just tell people what I see. I give them recommendations what they can do for themselves in order for them to heal. So it's a little bit of everything of, psychic abilities and, maybe a little bit of magical advice if they have to do something. I tell them always about the healings because I have yet to see a person that is 100% healed. And when they're ready, they usually come to me. But I get like flashbacks. Like I see people and what they have done. So you have to be psychic to do Akashic records. And that's what I recognized when I was talking to the people who are not actually really psychic. Especially when you talk to them, that I don't know. They tell you I don't know. Well, that's a problem right there. But yeah, that's one thing. And then as a psychic, you don't have to, have all those gifts. Some people are just tarot card readers. Then others are mediums. You are a medium. You talk to the dad. You connect with the spirits. I choose not to. I could. I can. I'm good to close that door because I remove those spirits, right? So it's a little different, and not everybody channels. So I think that's the one thing that comes up or has the flashbacks with like past life stuff. Because every reader is different. Like I said, some just do one thing, some people do all the things. And I just, the more you do it, the more you work in that field, the more you open up and the more abilities you get. I'm sure this has happened to you because 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you had your skill set. Now you have like a whole lot more. Then you add to your, like to your knowledge in terms of manifesting. Some people call it magic. They call it manifesting.
Well, and I think like 10 years ago, I had different knowledge and understanding
Mhm.
from the knowledge and understanding that I have now. That's evolved over time. So it's definitely something that can transition as well because as we learn and as we grow, we get more knowledge, which helps us to become who we are
Yeah.
as healers and readers and workers now.
Hmm. Definitely. And I think we're like, I mean, given the fact that I never, I didn't know this is where I'm headed. Like, I was in the makeup field, I was in the entertainment industry, I was beautifying people, so for me, when this happened was a big shock, but I was always curious about the spiritual side of things. But then when I look back 20 years ago, 15, 10, whatever years ago, 5 years ago, and how I am now, it's like very different. You grow, you add, you take things off or away. And as a healer, I have grown so much. Like my powers are very different now than they are before. And I restore the aura field, the chakras. I remove people, you know, that have attachment problems. I do cord cutting, but some cord cutting they need to do in addition if they want to have it faster done. And my method is just stronger than Reiki. I'm not saying it's not for the faint of heart, but it's kind of like, you want real stuff done. This is what we do. Just like when we talked about the other day about cord cutting, like you are ready to move on, then you do cord cutting. But in order for you to really cut the cords, you have to heal. There's no other way. So there comes a lot of changes. And yeah, it's just like very intense for some people. Like you get all the emotions, the chills. You could have like flashes or have like, feeling cold and you're freezing. While in the healing, you may see flashes of light and colors and go all through the emotions. But by the end of the day, it's also because something is coming up. It's like peeling the onion and then basically just remove any attachments that are not meant to be. And with that method, once you start with the healings, each time you do the healing, I usually recommend a set of 10 healings in order for you to see the full effect, and then just take a break. You can always come back to it, but it's not just like a one time healing. Like it's like, peeling the onion and just taking layer off after layer, because we have so much from our lifetime. If you're 20 years old, it's different when you're 30 or 40 or 50. There's a lot of attachments you have had. So, in order for us to detach that, we have to constantly work on each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
In your line of work, what are some things that you would advise your clients to look out for when it comes to people that are not authentic in what they do?
So, I've noticed because I'm always open to work with others because I want to grow, I want to heal as well. And even though I heal myself, when you ask the psychic a question and the psychic asks you something back, this is when you should, like, unless it is for clarifying purposes, um this psychic mostly has zero knowledge. If they're like super hyped on a social media platform, it doesn't matter which one. Make sure they're authentic, because a lot of them will tell you the same thing over and over again. That somebody's gonna call you, I don't know, from back when, whatever it is, most of the times they get you with love readings, right? I watch it for entertainment purpose because I think it's hilarious. But then again, there's nobody who's gonna call me. So I'm like, okay, you're not talking to me. Generally, I would say watch for the people who a lot of times rephrase, like you ask somebody something and you don't get an answer. And they rephrase the question to make it sound like it's like, an answer, and it's really not an answer. When they come up with big amounts of how to heal because you have a frigging curse on you and you really, like, I've fallen for this once, like, in the beginning stages when I was looking for healing, and there's a lot of gypsies, especially here in LA, and I hate to break it to you, but, like, and I love gypsies, but there's a lot of them, the scam artists, and not just gypsies, online where they tell you like there's a bad curse on you. When they start like this is like when you run. I can tell you if you ask me, but there is a way of removing it. That's what I do. I can help people remove that, but I'm just not as flashy. So when somebody tells you you need thousands of dollars to fix something, or I'm going to do a love spell or a money spell for you, it's only 500 or $5,000. This is when you run for the hills, because
Oh
somebody
yeah.
who is real is going to help you step by step and work on your budget. Of course, I have my price, but you can come and go as you wish. Like you don't have to. I'm not gonna curse you out, and I'm not gonna threaten you, but I'm gonna tell you you need to do this and this step. certain steps in order for you to succeed. So when they come with like bigger amounts, that's a problem. When they don't get back to you, it's very unprofessional. When you try to schedule with them and there's no scheduling page, for example, it goes back and forth. That just shows you sometimes there's no respect. Unless you have like an emergency, there's people who have still your phone number and they will reach out to you, which is fine. But when you schedule with them, with a person, and I've had this before, even like the last month, I scheduled with two people, and they were very unprofessional about the time and, oh, I'm busy and this and that, and I'm going to give you the answer later. Well, I deserve better. You cannot have my money. Not like that. So those are little things. Um, but usually when they come up with like, when you cannot relate to the reading, when you feel uncomfortable, all those, how you said, like, listen to your gut feeling, like, when you feel uncomfortable with that person, that's a problem. I have a lot of first-time readers, they're very comfortable with me, they never had a reading before, and they're always scared, so I break them in, I make it easy for them, and it's just a comfort that I give to them, and they come out, like, light and bright instead of feeling like, "Oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna die." So those are little things. I don't know if you wanna add something to it, but, like, it's not little, it's a lot, actually.
I was gonna say that's not really little, those are big things. Um, there are people that have their set prices for things, but when it comes to I agree, when it comes to, like, them telling you that you need to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of
Yeah,
dollars for one simple spell, there's something wrong with that.
yeah.
It's one thing to have a reasonable price that is what a person, you or any person, charges or I charge, um, because it's within we know what we're doing, and we can show these people step by step the process of what they're doing to accomplish those specific types of healings or workings that they're doing. But yeah, I have heard of people that sit there and say, "Yo, you have this big curse on you, and it has to be removed, and we're going to charge you $10,000 for
Yeah.
that," and that's just
I've seen
ridiculous.
celebrities being scammed. I've seen celebrities being scammed. I've seen them where I went to this, 15 years ago to the psychic who was telling me how to curse. And, she had like a very known back in the day famous singer. And like she must have charged her arm and leg. And that girl has not been successful though ever since. Not because of the psychic that was sadly a gypsy and like a scammer. Again, that is like when you drive on Ventura Boulevard, you will see a lot of them. And they're all the same. They will tell you like when they start with chakra healing and chakra balancing, it's like run for the hills. They have even cases with the police where they are going to jail, thankfully. But here's the
Mhm,
thing: I charge now by my experience. I
mhm.
understand when I was working in a metaphysical store was a different pricing. I could not ask for what I wanted, but now I charge by my experience, and we are more than worthy and deserving of that because I come with a long line of knowledge. I've been gathering my information for the last 15 to 20 years. So if you come to me tell me real quick my future is when I send you to the other way. That happens too. I don't like to tell people usually when I'm at a party or gathering what I do because they come to me with entitlement thinking like I can, tell them something right off the bat. And for me, it's like I will charge by my knowledge and my experience. I do teach classes so people can afford it more, but I know things now that I didn't know 10 years ago, for example. So what I always tell people like if you need a set of 10 healings, you can do one by one, by month, by week, whatever. If you cannot do a lot, just do one. Try, just to feel the difference. But there's no such thing that I will scare somebody and say, "Hey, this is what you need to do," because otherwise, I don't know, something bad will happen to you. It is horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I think if the work is being put in, then the prices are worth the price
Yeah,
if the knowledge and the experience is there. And if
yeah.
it's not, then it becomes a scam at that point if it's not there.
But I always fill my sessions with knowledge, so I
Yeah.
have to feel bad, and you do the same thing. I've seen you. it's just like it's sad because I know in every branch of work and every line of work, there will be somebody who does scam work, but, it happens also a lot with, like, psychics in particular. I've seen them bloom, all those fake accounts or pretending accounts, and I don't know how they do that to pull in so many people, but again, people wanna hear what they wanna hear. That's how you get them in, and then it's like, "Oh, let's do 1-hour session, you wanna book me?" Like, the reading is free and 1-hour session is like $500. I'm like, "What?" It's also very and then you book them and then there's nothing behind it, so gotta be
Yeah.
careful with those. Did you had anything that you wanna add to it besides what I told talked about?
I think that's really the big ones,
Mhm.
the ones that you have mentioned. The knowledge, that a person has needs to be, it's important, otherwise you're getting scammed. But I mean, as far as anything else to add to it, I think those are the major important ones.
Which is quite still a lot, but, you know.
Yeah, and, um, the biggest thing I would tell clients that are looking for a prospective people to work with is look at what knowledge that they have, what experiences that they have behind them. Look at their biographies, and look
It's
at
a
the
good
people
one, that's a good
that
one.
yeah, look
People judge you by your social media presence these days. That's the problem, and, no matter how good you are, if your social media doesn't align with it, it's a problem, but doing social media is a whole different thing because you have to be a creator, and that's not for everybody, like, I don't always like to do creations, like, and reels, and you have to post, it's a lot of work.
it definitely is, and so, like, looking at the person's biography and also, like, looking at what kind of things you're actually trying to learn and find out if that specific healer or worker or, someone that does Akashic records or mediumship lines up with what you're trying to look to learn if you're looking to go to classes and that
Yeah.
kind of thing is important too.
That's pretty much yeah. But that's right, but, like, I also have to a little bit disagree with it because it doesn't matter what school you go to, your talent is with you. You can learn a lot of stuff, but some people are just naturally talented, so whether they go somewhere or not is like, you know.
I do agree with you there. I'm just saying if a person is concerned about the
Yeah, yeah,
person
you're
not
right.
actually
You're right.
having that, yeah, that experience.
Yeah, so there's a hit and miss. You could have all the training and still not be decent about it. And then there's people who have no training and are decent about it. And, then there's people who have either one problem or really good. So, yeah, but biography, I like that. Yeah, it's true, actually. But social media presence is very deceiving these days. So that's the one thing people should look out for because it does not display your talents. Not everybody has time to do all that.
That's true.
That's very interesting. Well, I'm so happy that you explained it because for me it has been like confusing. And talking to you it kind of took the confusion away. It just confirmed that um, there's certain things that first of all, you're good in what you do. So we appreciate you. But then it's like you cleared the confusion of actually you have to be psychic for that period. So I mean, I know now that, those people are not very, psychic, intuitive, or Akashic record readers, so it's good
Well,
to
and
know. I'm sure there's
I think
stories.
I think it's really helpful to be able to get your points of view on things as well because it gives it, the questions that you ask and the things that you are sharing about like what it is an experience for you as a healer and
Yeah.
in the kind of work you do. Um, will help others to gain the knowledge of like experience and saying, "Oh, this is what I should look out for."
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Totally. What classes are coming up for you? What do you, besides your services, what do you offer? And I will have the link below, just like last time. So for you guys to find Miss Raven Wolf.
So I have in February in the for the Desert Medium LLC group, I have a I'm going to be doing readings throughout the month, but then we're going to do a class on self love.
Ooh, that's nice. And how do we join? Like, is it you need to be in the Facebook group or what?
Yeah, so you just go to the Desert Medium LLC, and you can go to the Facebook group and just there's a few questions that you need to answer, and then it gets you in, and it shows you the different classes that I have, and different. We're going to be going into a whole bunch of different topics within the next few months, so I would check that out, and then we are going to do a class on protection, and reversal magic as well within there. So should be lots of fun. What about
I,
you?
I had the class with you and I did enjoy it. It was very cute. I did like your energy and like what you put in, and it's beginner friendly, so we like that a lot. Um, so when people want to join, but they don't want to join through the Facebook group, or they don't have Facebook, do you have like a Zoom link somehow set up for a class, or how do you do that?
So for so when they want to sign up to go to the classes, then they can message me or email me at the Desert Medium LLC, or I'm sorry, the Desert Medium at gmail.com, um, and ask for a list of the different classes and then sign up
Good.
from that as well.
Okay.
Also, they get posted on my TikTok, which is the Desert Medium LLC as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, great. So I have February 1st, my first group manifestation inner child healing workshop, which will help you also manifest. So we're doing both. Inner child healing is basically removing all your shadow, you know, removing any shadow work, doing shadow work, removing any attachments, any negativity, anything that is past life related and trauma, especially for the inner child. We nurture the inner child. So there will be healing each time we have a session. It's going to be once a week. It's every Thursday starting February 1st. And we are going to do cosmic energy healings in a group. And then I'm going to give people tools for manifestation. So each time I see them within the duration of 5 weeks, I will be actually giving each time something new. We're going to do together journaling, together meditations. So I'm going to give people homework to do meditations, not just like doing meditations over in the group. And yeah, manifesting tools, how to work with crystals, with candles, how to journal, generally helping them be on the right mindset within 5 weeks, because it takes time. So upping their game to manifest on their own in that time and remove a lot of stagnancy, negativity. We're doing the shadow work by removing, aligning the chakras, all of those things. And you can still sign up at cosmicenergylife.com. And you can find me at Cosmic Energy Life on every social media. And I'm looking forward for that. And on February 21st, that's going to come later, I'm going to have a feng shui class that I'm going to be teaching. And I have the Cosmic Club. When people join, they get one free class a month. They can join through the link within my website. And I'm going to be teaching this time around feng shui. And last time, what did I teach last time? I don't know if it was protection magic or something. I have every month different classes, but this time it's going to be feng shui. But the inner child healing is the main one. I have a few people already lined up. Those are long-time clients that have done it many times in single sessions. And now we're doing it together as a group, as a collective, to raise the vibration and just manifest a little bit better and harder. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting, but it's my first time doing a bigger workshop, like a longer workshop. So it's great. It's really great. But I'm very excited for you for your for your classes as well because you teach very well. You knowledge people.
Thank you.
And people can find you on social media on the desert. What's it
So
called?
it's the Desert Medium, and, it'll have the letters LLC behind it, or it'll be just the Desert Medium.
All right. And you're on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Mine is Edition Twitter, but it's Cosmic Energy now. Everything else is Cosmic Energy Life. They are shortening with the numbers how many letters you can have. So I had to go on a diet.
So funny.
Yeah. It would have been LIF and then no more E, so no Cosmic Energy Life. Maybe I should change it and just have it life. Cosmic Energy Live. Well,
Oh,
thank you so much for tuning in today. I had such pleasure talking to you. I hope we can have more chatter, different kind of chatter next week or next time we do the podcast.
sounds good.
Yeah, thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon.
Alright, thank you so much.